All right, all right. We are live. Okay. So, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are watching from. I would like to thank all of you for being here. This is the second live that we are doing. Now, before we continue with our live stream, I would like to ask you to confirm if you can hear me. Okay, so let's see if the sound is good. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up or just say we can hear you. Okay, now I will be looking at the camera here, and then I'll be looking on the side over here on my right to read your comments. Okay, comments, questions, whatever you want to ask me, let's talk about it. Okay, so let me know if you guys can hear me. Now, I want to tell you guys what happened to me last time I did the first live stream before we go on. So I have a lot of questions here that I wrote. I wrote a bunch of questions. Perfect. All right. Shannon Peel says she can hear me. Oh, sweet Shannon. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that you can hear me. Okay, so I want to tell you guys a little bit about what happened to me last time I did the live stream. After the live stream last time, I got sick. Okay, as soon as I ended the live stream, it was hard for me to drive home. I had a terrible headache. Now, I don't know why. As I kept thinking about it, I don't know if it was because I was just hungry all day, because that day I was so busy and I forgot to eat. And when I rewatched the live stream, I realized that I didn't even drink any water as I was talking. So I talked for almost an hour and a half straight. So I hope I don't get sick after we are done with this live stream. So I hope I feel better after this. So Shannon Peel, thanks for being here. I am glad to see you here. Okay, you can hear me. Budsy A1 says he can hear me from Australia. Perfect. Thank you. I am glad that you can hear me, my friend. And thanks for being here. And also, before we get into the questions and the couple stories that I have for you, I would like to thank you all for reaching out and sending me emails. One of my favorite thing about doing this and creating content is receiving emails and knowing how much these videos have been helping you guys. Okay, so I appreciate your emails. Thank you for writing emails to me. I read those all the time. So thank you very much. Okay, Salome Tesfai says, great, bro. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thanks for being here. All right. Who else is here? And those of you that are joining in, can you please let us know? Can you please let us know where you are watching from? I would love to know where you are watching from. Hello, Amonic. Tell us where you are watching from. All right. This is good. New York, nice. Great, my friend from New York. Good to have you here. Who else is here? Did any of you see the Audi video that I just did like a couple days ago? Did any of you watch the Audi video? And if you did, what have you learned from it? And if that car came to your shop, how were you going to deal with it? If a customer brought a car to your shop and told you that the car came from the dealer, and then you diagnose it, you realized that the dealer misdiagnosed it, and you did? Okay. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that that you watched the video. Good. Good. Isn't that crazy what dealerships are doing nowadays? You know, I actually went to the dealership to talk to the guy that was working on it. Let me adjust the camera just a little bit. Yeah, so they wanted me to look at it, and I went there and give them my opinion, and they were like, "No, you don't know what you're talking about." No, I'm just kidding. That's not what they said. Okay, who else is here? Okay, so I have a list of questions over here on my notepad, and these are questions that I got from all of you. These are questions I get from emails, comments. So I will be answering those in a moment. And then I will get your questions here on the live chat as questions start rolling in. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, first question: where do you get your wiring diagrams from? So I get this question a lot. Where do I get my wiring diagrams from? You guys ask me a lot, and I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I've mentioned this several times in my videos. I talked about it a little bit on the last live stream. I said that I get my wiring diagram from Mutual Pro Demand, and I get the Pro type version. But if you're just a car enthusiast, I mean, not just, but if you're a car enthusiast and you're not a professional mechanic, you want to get wiring diagram, you can go to Mutual and get the DIY version. Okay, they have a DIY version that you can just, it's like buying a service manual for one specific vehicle. It's not very expensive. You can buy that and then access the wiring diagram for the specific vehicle you are working on and get your service info that way, instead of trying to like get a full subscription. Okay, so to all of you, or some of you, my tech guys out there, if you can share with us what type of wiring diagrams you use, you know, tell us what part of the world you are watching from, and tell us what type of wiring diagram you use. And then if you are, you know, do-it-yourself guy, that's okay also. If you're do-it-yourself, you probably are not using wiring diagram, which is fine. All right. A Warsam says he's watching from London. Thanks, my friend. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. And it's 11 p.m. Wow. Thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Thank you. Who else is here? I appreciate you guys. It is 6 p.m. my time. It's 11 p.m. there. Wow, that's pretty late. All right, so I'm going to jump to the next question. I get this question a lot. A lot of you have asked me this question. Hello, my brother, Mahmoud Ba. Mahmoud Ba, hello. I want to look at you guys, but I have to look, you know, to my right to read the comments. Hello, my friend. How are you? Where did you learn your trade, and how long have you been a mechanic? Oh, okay. That's Bugsy A1. Am I saying your name right? Bugsy A1 is asking, where did you learn your trade, and how long have you been a mechanic? Well, I have been, yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Okay, Mahmoud says he's fine. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, my friend. Okay, I'm going to answer Buggy A1's question. Well, I have been a mechanic pretty much my whole life. I grew up in the industry. My dad owned a shop. I grew up kind of following my dad in the shop, and then eventually I went to school for it. So I have been doing this professionally, I would say a little over 12 years now. And this is the only job I've had my whole life, you know, just working on cars and trucks. And so I would say about 12 years, give or take. You know, 12 years as a pro mechanic. And it's been fun. I've loved it. It's been great. I love figuring things out. I like fixing things. So it's been very fun. Okay, thanks for the question though. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next question that I have here on my list of questions, and then as your questions, you know, roll in, I will answer as I go. Now, question number 2 was, is ASC certifications worth it? Or I think the question was, are ASC certifications worth it? So, yes, I would say it's very, very good to be ASC certified. Okay, I know, my pleasure. I know they are. I was answering to Baggy's A1. I know there are a lot of people that kind of talk down about ASC certs. I mean, you know, you can say whatever you want, but being certified is a great thing. It shows the level of professionalism that you have for, you know, for the industry, and it also you benefit from it. It makes you better. Like, from my experience, I became a better tech prepping for ASC certifications. Okay, so studying for the test, reading. I know a lot of great techs who are not ASC certified, but I would recommend everyone to become ASC certified, because the process of getting ready to become certified changes you as a tech. You just learn so much, and you basically have to keep up with technology. So ASC certifications are definitely good to have. Now, we can have a whole debate around that, but they are definitely worth it in my opinion. And eventually, when I have my shop here, I will be hiring ASC certified technicians. Like, ASC certified technicians will kind of maybe be first in line, because when you become ASC certified, you have to learn how systems work. You know, you just don't replace parts. You are not just a parts changer, but you have to learn how these systems on vehicles work and how you can fix them properly, because it's hard to fix something properly if you do not know how it works. Okay, so I'm a big advocate of ASC certifications. Okay, so my Wi-Fi is kind of, I hope you guys can still hear me. It's getting a little blurry here, so I'm hoping I'm not losing internet connection. I got my water this time, so I'm good to go. All right, so story time. I have a story to tell you guys. Okay, now I had a customer come to me for the first time. This was a couple of weeks ago. This customer came to me from, so this was a Honda Odyssey, and this Honda had a couple of parts thrown at it. They replaced all kinds of parts to fix it. They replaced the starter, the ignition switch. They replaced the starter relay and all kinds of things, but the car was still not fixed. Now, someone got that customer to our shop, so I want one of my customers that EvaPurge valve. Okay, Mod Ali says EvaPurge valve. Are you saying the EvaPurge Valve because of the Odyssey? Mahmoud Ba says that I'm from West Africa, Sierra Leone. Oh, and how are you? I'm from Africa too. I hope you all know. I'm from Congo. I'm from the Republic of Congo. So I'm glad you're here. It must be very late over there right now. Oh, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, my friend. So I've been watching your YouTube channel for a very long time now, and I have learned a lot from you. And I want to learn more. Can you help me, please? Yeah, sure. Of course. I'm glad you have been watching for a while. You know, thanks for being here. You can email me, okay? You can send me an email. I have my email on the about section of the channel. Send me an email and then I'll see how I can help. Okay. So Celine Abarca, am I saying your name right? Is asking, where are you located? I am located in Dickerson, Maryland. So I am in Maryland. Our shop is in Dickerson. Perfect. Yeah, so I am in Dickerson, Maryland. Where are you located? You're welcome, bro. You are welcome. Okay. So we're gonna go to the next question. Okay. Oh, you're in Delaware. Okay. So you're about 4 hours away from me here. Okay. I actually have a couple of hours in Delaware. I have a customer there that actually owns a construction company. He has, I believe, 9 Sprinter vans, and he brings his sprinters to me for service. One time he had to get his Sprinter towed all the way from Delaware to here. I felt bad for him because that tow bill must have been very high. But so EvaPurge valve, should it be open or closed when it is running? That's a great question, Mad Ali. No, the EGR Purge valve is a normally closed valve. Okay, so your evap purge valve should always be closed. It shouldn't be open. If it's open while the engine is running at idle, it means there is a problem. Now, a quick test you could do is you can disconnect the tube that's on the other side of the purge valve. So the tube that goes back to the fuel tank, you can disconnect it and get a vacuum gauge. Connect your vacuum gauge to that tube that goes, to the tube part of the valve that goes to the tank. And while the engine is running, you should not have vacuum on the other side of the purge valve because it's a normally closed valve. Okay? So I hope that helps. What vehicle is this valve on? Can you tell us what vehicle is this valve on? All right, so Ali Rahal says, thank you. Your video how to remove an evap integrity for Jeep Cherokee saved me money. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a video I made like a long time ago. Good. I'm glad to hear that that video was helpful. And then Thrush Life says he's from Denver, Colorado. Thanks for being here, my friend. I'm glad you're here. So he says, cheers. Watched your videos on the truck where it lost power on one wire to the transmission where it wouldn't start. I have a similar issue with my caliber that has U0101 and U0102 with the P700. Oh, okay. I believe you're referring to the video that I made a while back on a tow truck. Is that the video you're referring to? I remember that video. Actually, that tow truck, the guy that brought the tow truck here came from Richmond, Virginia, which is about 4 hours away from us. And they had replaced a transmission. They put a new, I guess they had a used Allison transmission on it. And the problem wasn't the transmission. The problem was in the wiring, just like you saw in the video. You know, wasn't that crazy? So I am happy to hear that you're watching from Colorado. I appreciate you guys. So so the issue you're having on your caliber, so caliber, this is a Dodge, right? Dodge caliber. Can you talk to the transmission control unit? Like, are you trying to diagnose it yourself, or did you take it to a shop? This was the one with the TCM that lost power and made the window light all up. Which one? Oh, okay. Okay. I was thinking about a different truck. Okay, you are talking about the Dodge Ram. Oh, okay. Okay, the Dodge Ram. Yes, okay. I remember. I've done a couple of those. Sometimes I lose track. Yes, I remember that one. You are diagnosing it. Okay. Well, if you are diagnosing it yourself, I hope you have a pretty decent scan tool and try to talk to the transmission control unit and see what happens. Jara Victor says, yes, my boss. I'm from Gambia. Oh, my friend from Gambia. How are you? I am glad that you are here. I'm sure it's late over there. I have a friend who's from Gambia as well. He was actually here at the shop about I think 3 days ago for his car. Yeah, Thrush Life says thanks. Oh no, you're welcome. Anytime. 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 Okay. So I'm gonna look at my notes and see what other questions we have here. So a lot of you have been asking me about the location of the shop. So I wanna mention this again. Our shop is located in Dickerson, Maryland. Okay, and if you wanna bring your vehicle here to our shop for service, just send me an email. If you're in Maryland, send me an email. We're gonna set up an appointment, and then I would love to look at your vehicle. Okay, most of the things with horsepower are mostly horses. That's funny. Thrush Life. That's funny. Mad Hali says, thanks for answering the EvaPurge valve, but when does it open? Okay, was that your question? When does it open? So the purge valve only opens when the computer tells it to. Okay, so it's a normally closed valve. When the computer is ready to burn all the hydrocarbons that's stored in a charcoal canister, it opens the purge valve to allow those hydrocarbons, you know, that's a little bit of fuel, into the intake to burn it while the engine is running. Okay, so when the evap is operated by the ECM, that's when the evap purge solenoid opens. So it's not supposed to open at any circumstances, only when the computer grounds it to turn it on. Mike from Tucson, Arizona. Mike Cap. Thanks for being here, Mike. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So Mad Ali, tell us this evap question you're asking, this evap purge issue that you are, I'm assuming you are diagnosing this. What vehicle? Can you let us know what vehicle it's on? Okay, so I'm happy to read all your comments, your questions, and I appreciate you telling me where you are watching from. This is awesome. This is awesome, guys. All right, so next question. I believe I was about to tell you guys a story about that customer that brought a vehicle here. I got a little bit distracted, but that's okay. Okay, we're hanging out. Okay, so That's okay. Ask me your question. I will stop and answer. So, sir, I need all data software. Aweda Kehinde. Did I say your name right? You need all data software? I do not use all data, but if you do need that, you can actually go online and go to their website and purchase it from them. I'm sure it's subscription based, so you're gonna have to purchase the subscription and get it that way. Okay. And then the light above says good teaching. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thrush Life says, how often do you go live? This is great. You actually answer people's questions. Oh, thank you. My pleasure. Well, it depends. I try to go live maybe every other 3 months. It's kind of hard for me to go live a lot because you know, there's a lot going on in the shop, and so it's hard to like always be available. So I made time today so I can hang out with you guys and answer your questions, and we're just hanging out. Okay, we're just hanging out. I just love hanging out with you guys. Okay, Ali Ahal from Texas. Thanks for being here, my friend. Okay, so Awende Kahindi says the website link, sir, for all data. Yeah, I don't have the link. I mean, when I have time, I can find it and send it to you. If you send me an email, I can. I have a couple of friends that use all data and Identifix. The other service info platform that I have used in the past was Identifix, but I haven't really used all data. So I can get you that information, or you can just Google them. Just Google, I think it's all data repair manuals, and then the info will pop up. Okay. Oh, Mahad Ali says it's a Grand Marquis 2010. What is a Grand Marquis? Do I know that car? I haven't seen that car. But even if I don't know that car, even if I haven't worked on it, EVAP systems for the most part work the same way. Some of them are very complex than others, but for the most part they work the same way. Purge valve, these components on these EVAP systems work the same way. Okay. Glitter Fart says, only seen a few videos, but they were very detailed. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thanks for being here. Glitter Fart says, hope everyone is having a great night and ready for a great Friday. Yes, I am ready for a great Friday. It's been a busy week for me. So hanging out with you is a great way of ending the week for me. That's for sure. Hope everyone is having a great night. Yes, we are. Perfect. Okay. Celine Barca says, what software you use for your shop? I use Mutual Pro Demand. Okay, so Mutual Pro Demand is what I use for my service information. And it's been very good. Like, I like the new feature they have now where you can highlight wiring diagrams, and they also go from one page to another. Whatever wire you highlight, it goes from one wire to another. And I'm sorry, and that's been excuse me, and that's been very it's been very helpful. It's been good. And I like how the service information is written, how it's laid out, so it's very simple and very easy to understand. So Mutual Pro Demand is what I use. Okay, what else? Please, I need your help, whether it's the all data or Pro Demand or anyone. Well, again, are you if you are okay, so you need this. Which part of Africa? Hold on. Sorry if I might be mistaken here. Are you watching from Africa or from the States? because that can also depend. Okay. Okay. So let's see. So John Me says I have a 1997 Camry with 222,000 miles. Wow, that's a lot of miles. And has a PO420 code. Well, that is a catalytic converter code. And then Dode Uben, many supports to you, master. Oh, Dode Uben, this is my little brother. My little brother is in the comment section. Dode Uben Kitoko is my little brother. Pierrot, Abungelala. I just say that in my local dialect. So that's my little brother joining in the live. He's in Congo right now, and I believe it's probably 10 or 11 over there. So it's good to see you there, little brother. Okay, who else? So SV Herbert says, Dio, for your fans, I came across this website, completely free repair manuals for all cars. Oh, really? Okay, I'll check it out. I'll check it out and see how good it is, and then if it's worth it, I will definitely recommend it. I will check it out. All right. Oh, so it's a Ford. It's a Ford Grand Marquis. Okay. Well, since it's a Ford, yeah. So just do the test I told you. Do that test, and you should be fine. You should be able to find the problem. And the other thing you could do while you are testing that purge valve, disconnect the electrical connector, because that can throw you off, or you can misdiagnose a purge valve if the computer happens to be controlling that purge valve while you are testing it. You can misdiagnose it. So disconnect the electrical connector of the purge valve, and then put a vacuum gauge on the other side of the purge valve to see if you have vacuum on the other side of it. So you shouldn't have vacuum on the other side of the purge valve while the engine is running. Okay, let me drink some water break. So Auto Tech, am I saying your name right? Auto Tech is watching from Gambia. Thanks for being here, my friend. I appreciate it. So Awenda Kainde from Africa, Nigeria. Thanks for being here, my friend. You're watching from Nigeria. My brother from another mother. Thanks for being here. Can you make a video, pull up and pull down sensors? Yes, I can. But the thing is time though. Like, guys, you guys won't believe how crazy busy I have been. Like, it's been like I'm slammed. Sometimes even producing good content for you guys has become a little bit challenging, which I kind of don't like, because I enjoy making videos and I enjoy sharing, my findings here in the shop with you guys. But sometimes just finding time to do that has become, very, very hard, from, diagnostic work and trying to, keep the shop running well and trying to oversee everything. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm not uploading as much as I used to, which is kind of sad. But I'm working on finding someone who can, edit videos kind of how I want, so I can put out a lot of content for you guys out there. Okay, so I love this YouTube community. I love this community we are forming here, and I love, everything that's happening here on the channel. I love your support. So it's been fun. I want to continue doing this. It's a lot of fun. And for a lot of you, I have been in your position before. Okay, some of you, are having issues or are having hard time troubleshooting electrical and electronic issues. I used to be that tech in the past that didn't want to diagnose electrical issues, okay, or didn't have the tool or the training or the knowledge to have the confidence to like tackle these advanced um, level stuff. But all I can say is, you know, just learn, apply yourself, and eventually it's going to make sense. So I make videos so I can share the stuff I find in the shop with you, and I'm glad that the videos have been helpful. Okay, what else do we have? So about the pull up and pull down design type sensor, eventually I will make videos for that. I don't know when, I cannot tell you when exactly, but eventually I will. Okay, I've had friends that have recommended that I would come up with some type of course that I can create to like teach, you know, like maybe basic electrical or basic electronics. Hopefully someday I'm gonna find time to really do it, because I just don't want to do something quick that's gonna be out there and not be really valuable. So I want to make sure whatever I do, I have to put my mind, heart, and soul into it so that it can be great. And once it comes out, I want it to help a lot of people. So maybe eventually I'll come up with a course, but you know, I don't know yet. So maybe someday. All right. So Glitter Fart says, "Hey, bro, great to see family support too. Very nice." Oh, yes. I mean, I'm surprised to see my brother here. I mean, I thought he was already asleep, but I appreciate him being here. Actually, my younger brother, he's going to the same school I went to. Okay, he's already done. He graduated. He's a mechanic. He did the automotive technology and um, the diesel training I did. He's been doing internship right now. So eventually he will come here, and you guys will be seeing him eventually on the channel. So maybe someday he's gonna come and kick me out, and then I'll retire and relax, and then he can he can be talking to you guys. But yeah, eventually. I know a lot of you have asked about my nephew Abraham. Maybe on my next live, I will make sure Abraham is here. Thank you for those of you that have asked about Abraham. I've received emails, and some of you have mentioned my nephew Abraham on the comments. He's been busy with school and he's doing soccer. He's playing soccer right now. So actually, he was here with his dad 2 days ago, and he was asking when he's gonna come back in the shop. He misses being in the shop, which I really love. He loves working on cars, and I'm sure he's gonna be a great tech someday. So eventually, we'll have Abraham here next to me, and I'm sure he's gonna love chatting with you guys. Okay, so what's next? Yavuz Zor, am I saying your name right? Yavuz Zor says, I have P0328 error code, which is about knock sensor. I changed the sensor, but still have the same problem. Any idea? Well, is this a 2-wire type knock sensor, or is it a 1-wire type knock sensor? Because if I know the type of knock sensor you have, I will know, or I will know how I can better answer your question. Because if it's a 1-wire sensor and you have replaced it with a good sensor, I'm assuming that the sensor you installed is good, you have a wiring issue. Because if it's not the sensor, it's gonna most likely be the wire. Now, if it's a 1-wire sensor, what you can do is use a multimeter and connect it to ground. Okay, use a multimeter, be on the voltage scale, DC voltage scale, connect your black test lead to ground, and then your red test lead connect it to the knock sensor wire, that 1 wire, connect it to the sensor, back probe the wire, and then disconnect the sensor, turn the key on. With the key on, you should have, I believe, 5 volt. Some of them have 5 volt going to them, and then some other ones have 12 volts going to them. So yeah, disconnect the sensor, back probe the wire, see what kind of voltage you have there. Okay, and then if you don't have any voltage going to the sensor, you most likely have an open between the ECM and the sensor, because the wire that goes to the knock sensor comes from the ECM, okay? And since you replaced the sensor, I'm assuming your problem might be the wiring. So I would check that next, okay? Now, if it's a 2-wire sensor, make sure you have your reference voltage. I believe there is a reference voltage. Sorry, I can't talk. I believe there is a reference voltage that comes down one wire, and then there is a ground on the other wire, and then when there is pinging or detonation on the engine, there's a term for that. There's a piezo something, some type of weird term. There's a piezo kind of crystal in the sensor that moves, and then it pulls that voltage to ground, you know, and then when the voltage changes in the circuit, that's how the computer knows that there's detonation, and then the computer adjusts the timing based on the input that's coming from the knock sensor. Okay, so hopefully I didn't get too technical for you right there. All right, what else do we have? Awenda Kahinde says, I need the EWD software. I have many times in this comment section, please. I need your guidance. What's the EWD software? I don't know what that is. Can someone in the comment section here let us know what it is in the live chat? To be honest, I do not know what the EWD software is. I haven't heard of it. Is it an acronym for what? Okay, so sorry I couldn't answer your question. We're gonna jump to the next question. Okay, so next question is, great sir, bring more diagnostic stuff. Okay, my pleasure. I'm glad you guys like. Oh, so the acronym is electrical wiring diagram. Ah, okay. Electrical wiring diagram. Get them from Mutual Pro Demand. You know, get them from Mutual Pro Demand. That's where I get mine from. Get them from Mutual Pro Demand. Okay. So what's the next question? Awesome. That would be great to see in time. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. So Bodzi A1 says, I seen someone on YouTube wearing the same badge, ASC. Somebody have changed it for him. For what? For an apprenticeship, and he calls his then he changed it again to half ass. That's funny. Oh man, actually I need to change mine. Actually, I need to change this patch. I have a customer that brought me a patch. I need to find it. I don't know where I put it. I have a customer that brought me a patch that says YouTube Master Mechanic. And it's like an ASC patch, but it says YouTube Master Mechanic. So I need to put it on one of my shirts. That was funny. All right. Oh man. So I've got a 2000. So Glitter Fart says I've got a 2002 Chevy 2500. The ratio is very low audio, but sometimes when choosing the door hard the audio is very loud. Ground fault somewhere. I did not understand your question, my friend. Are you asking about the radio? Like, what's up with the radio? Okay, so moving on. Next question. Hello, Eric says hello. Hello, Eric. How do I get it from Mutual Pro Demand? Just call them. Aquenda Kahinde, call them. You know, you can call, Mutual Pro Demand. They have the cell number on on their website. Just get on the website, call them, and they will walk you through. They will tell you what you need to do to get access to those wiring diagrams. Okay. Sweet. Okay. What else do we have here? Now, I know I haven't told you guys about the story I was gonna tell you yet. Okay. Let me jump into it. I'm gonna get to your questions, but I want to hear your take on this. You know, to um, to a lot of you guys out there that work on cars, you know, every day. Maybe you do this as a professional. Maybe you don't. You just do this for fun. But I want to hear your take on this. So, customer comes to me, says, "I was at this shop. This is the Odyssey I was referring to. Okay, I was at this shop. This is what they replaced, and the car is still not fixed." I'm like, okay, sure. So you have to drop it off for diagnostic. We have to diagnose it, and then eventually we'll figure out what's wrong with it. So the customer does not want to pay for diagnosis. We give them our diagnosis fee. They're like, oh no, I mean, we already replaced all these parts, so we just want you to tell us what's wrong with the problem. I mean, what's wrong with the car? I'm sorry. We just want you to tell us what's wrong with the car. And I'm like, how can I tell you what's wrong with the car? I have to diagnose it first. You know, and they're complaining, we spent all this money, we spent a lot of money, you know, at this shop, we spent a little over $2,000 at this shop, the car is not fixed. And I'm like, what does that have to do with me? Like, what the heck? You know, like, you're bringing it to me so I can diagnose it. You took it to a parts changer who would just fire the parts cannon to the car, and now you don't want to pay for my diagnosis time. Like, how do you deal with those type of customers? Okay, let me get back to your questions here, and then just tell me. I wanna know how do you deal with customers like that? Okay, so Eric says, I have a 2007 Dodge Sprinter with a 3.0 liter diesel. The steering is very hard and only turns easily when I push the gas pedal. It sounds like your power steering pump is getting weak. So basically what happens is at idle, you have, you know, your engine is spinning at about 800 or 700 RPMs, okay? So the pump speed is not pretty great. It's not great at idle. But when you rev it, the engine speed increases and then the pump spins faster. So I believe what's happening when the pump spins faster, it creates more fluid flow and more fluid pressure. So it creates more fluid volume and pressure throughout the system, which makes it easy to steer. So you're most likely your pump is going bad. Okay, it sounds like your power steering pump is going bad. So I would have it diagnosed. You know, someone should check it for you, or get it. There's a power steering pressure tester that you can use to see how much pressure the pump is putting out, and that's how you can figure that out. But it sounds like your pump is going bad. Okay, next question. Lone Wolf says 2017 Ford F-150 with a 5.0 liter, really bad vibration or shudder after driving for a while. Bad vibration. Is this vibration coming from the drivetrain? Is it coming from the engine? You need to be a little bit more specific. Where is the vibration coming from? Is it coming from the engine, or is it coming from if it's okay, I'm gonna just assume, okay, then you can correct me if I'm wrong. If it's coming from the engine, you know, and if it's only happening when the engine has been driven for a while, well, you could have let me think about it. What would cause a vibration that interesting. Engine only vibrates after driving it for a while. I mean, you guys can chime in. If you guys have some ideas, chime in. Okay. So it depends. I mean, I would look at my data PIDs. I would drive the car. I can't tell you exactly what it is because it could be anything, you know. So I would look at my data PIDs, connect your scan tool to the car, look at your data PIDs. I would look at my oh, okay. Lone Wolf says I'm leaning more towards torque converter. Okay, that's you know, that's a good point. Yeah, torque converter. But would the torque converter only affect it while it's like been driven for a while? I guess yeah, because you can have a torque converter that's stuck and not releasing. Okay, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. And then this car, do you have trouble codes in the engine computer? Like, do you have any codes? If you do, let us know what codes you have, and then maybe the codes can help us figure out where the issue is, or can give us directions. Okay, next questions. Billy Deaver, am I saying your name right? Billy Deaver says, your videos help me learn how to diagnose cars. Thank you. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, what else? I only do it to fix our farm trucks and trailers. Ah, okay. So you work on your own farm vehicles. That's good. That's awesome. Thanks, sir. Much love. My pleasure. Why they bring to you if they don't want to pay? I know. Yeah. I mean, Clear Fart is saying, why do they bring it to you if they don't want to pay? I know. It's yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people don't want to pay for diagnostic time, you know. So many people are just used to, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to generalize, you know, but some people are just used to going to a guy that just throws a part at the car, and then with these vehicles nowadays that have a lot of electronic systems, those days of just throwing parts at cars are long gone. So you have to diagnose stuff and figure out what's going on before you replace stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to be expensive. Just throwing parts at a car until you hopefully guess what's wrong with it. You know. So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, what else do we have? How long? Oh, okay. So, is it Japheth? Japheth Johnson is asking, I believe if I understand your question, you are asking how long I have been living in the States. Is that your question? So he says, how long have you lived in the States? I've been living in the States for about 9 years now, almost 10 years. Almost 10 years. Okay, Abraham Durant says, I have a 2006 Honda Odyssey. Again, just to come back to that F-150 question, if there are no codes, I will drive the car and look at my data PIDs. You know, you can pull out transmission data PIDs. The torque converter suggestion is a good one. You know, or look at your engine data PIDs. I'll look at my fuel trim. I'll look at my, you know, all the important data PID, the crucial data PIDs on the engine computer, and test drive it and wait until it starts shaking to see if something is like something is, you know, causing this. Because your vibration could not be coming from the engine. It could be coming from your steering system. It could be coming from your suspension system. It could be coming from anything. Okay. So, not your fault. Your time and work is worth your fee. I agree. Yes. Lone Wolf says it's not my fault. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, we go to training, we buy expensive tools to fix vehicles properly. Well, I mean, you gotta pay for our time, right? If people don't want to pay for diagnosis, then how are we gonna stay in business? Okay. What else? So yeah, Abraham Durant says, I have a 2006 Honda Accord with a 2.4 liter. On full tank of gas, it don't burn much fuel as long as it reach about half tank, a little below half. It consumes the rest of the fuel in a few runs. Need an idea what is one. That's I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. That's odd. So it only burns a lot of fuel after it reaches half tank, and then that's weird. Like anything wrong with the car? Any lights on the dash? Like, are you experiencing any like jerking, or like how is the engine running? That would be my question to you, because I would need a little bit more information, because I don't think the half tank. I don't know. I know it's. Give us more info, please. Okay, so Jada Victor says that one you will not. It's not the problem with the car. Sorry, I didn't understand your question. So Long Life Afghanistan says most of the time vibrations from engine mount. Sorry, I did not understand that. Sorry. No codes. No codes. That is odd. Yeah, so since you don't have any codes, look at your data PIDs. Okay? Drive, look at your data PIDs, and your data PIDs will give you direction. Okay, Billy Deaver says, I have a 2013 BMW X3, code 108F01, intake plenum suspension of intake plenum suspicions of leaks between exchange turbo. Hold on. Between exchange turbocharger and intake values. Do I need to do a smoke test on the intake? Yes, of course. Yeah, you might just have a vacuum leak. Look at your fuel trim numbers and see, or you can just drive it. Look at your fuel trim numbers at idle, and while you're driving, watch those numbers at wide open throttle and at idle. That should give you an indication of what type of problem you have. Lone Wolf says it's driving me crazy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. They think your time, knowledge, experience, tools, etc. is free. No way. Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you guys agree with me. Thank you. That's what I think too. It's unbelievable. Okay, Glitter Fart says, Lone, where is the vibrations from the steering wheel or engine? Okay, so this is a question for you, my friend. Glitter Fart is asking, where is the vibration coming from? Tell us where it's coming from, because that would help you figure that out. Except dealers, they change parts left and right. I mean, there are some good dealerships out there that do great work, and some of them are just like, I mean, like I get vehicles that come from dealerships here all the time, and it's unbelievable what other dealerships are doing. Okay, sounds like a stock fuel sensor. I mean, a stock fuel sensor? Well, if the fuel, do you mean like the fuel level sensor? If the fuel level sensor was stuck, it would just show from full to half tank. If it's going all the way to empty, because it says that the consumption seems a little bit increased from half tank to empty. So if that's the case, if he knows when the tank is becoming empty, that means the fuel level sensor is reading. I mean, it's fine. So I don't know, but yeah, that's that's something to check. Hopefully your fuel level sensor is good. Okay, let's see what else we have. I'm kind of running behind here. Sorry if I'm. So if I have missed your questions, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to read all these questions here. So Martin Kenny says, "Did you ever change the glow plugs in a 2005 Sprinter? How difficult is it?" No, they're not really difficult. I actually have videos here on the channel about uh, glow plug replacement on a Sprinter van. They are not really difficult. I would recommend you watch that video. Go watch my video, and I think I did a video with my nephew Abraham a while back, like a year or two ago. Go watch that video, and I'm sure it will be helpful to you. Okay, next question. Maybe the tank is dented also. Could be. It could be. Okay, what else? Okay, Abraham Durant says no lights on, no codes, run okay, but at times it surges and then picks up again. I would look at some data pads when, when it's surging to figure out exactly what is going on. You can clean your throttle. That's something you can do first. What else can you do? I hope your filters are good. When was the last time you replaced your filters? Fuel filter, air filter, and all the good stuff. Okay, Eric says 2007 Dodge Sprinter, diesel camshaft sensor code. I changed the sensor, but it's still always hard to start, and the starter keeps spinning. I have to use starter fluid every morning. Interesting. First question for you, Eric. Did you install an OEM sensor on it? If the answer is no, I would say get an OEM sensor. Now, scan it and see what codes you have. Okay? Scan it first and see what codes come up. Now, when it comes to, okay, Eric just said no. I would go get an OEM sensor. Here's my rule, guys. When it comes to electrical and electronic devices, I only use OEM parts, okay? Aftermarket parts are not worth it. I actually have a lot of videos right now. I can name 3 that are in my computer right now that haven't come out yet, where we got parts from Napa, the aftermarket store. We got parts from Napa, installed them on a car. The car didn't get fixed. The car was still not working. Same code kept coming back. And then we got an OEM part. We installed it. Problem was fixed. You guys will probably see this video in the future. The car I'm talking about is a VW Jetta. I can vividly remember this one. VW Jetta. This car had a intake flap code. You know those flaps they have in the intake runners? So on this VW Jetta, the runners, one runner had that little plate on it, and the other runner was completely open to the intake. So the computer opens that other runner, it opens that other flap to allow more air to enter in the cylinder to give the engine more power. Well, the motor that controls those flaps, because all those flaps are connected together through a shaft, and then there's a motor that the computer controls to open and close those flaps. So what was happening was the motor was bad, so it kept those flaps shut. Okay, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. And when the complaint was the engine was losing power, so low performance. It was not as powerful as it used to be. There was a trouble code in the engine computer. We checked the wiring diagram. We checked the wiring on the vehicle itself, The wiring was good, but the car was still not fixed. We installed a brand new electric motor on it. It was a Dorman part. Not to hate on Dorman, but yeah, we got a Dorman part. It didn't work. Okay, we had to get a VW part, and we waited a couple days, almost a week, to get a OEM part. We installed the OEM part, and it was gone. So you guys will see that video eventually, sometime in the future. That video will come out. Okay, so aftermarket parts, not worth it. Just buy OEM parts. If you're working on a VW, Mercedes, BMW, anything German, even just domestic vehicles, crank sensor, cam sensor, all these electrical and electronic devices, not worth it. Do not buy the aftermarket stuff. Okay, now let's see. Long Life Afghanistan says, how long have you been a mechanic? Well, I have been a mechanic for, I would say 12 years, you know, a little around. I mean, well, I grew up in the industry. My dad was a mechanic, so I remember I did my first oil change when I was 9 years old. Just like the way you see my nephew Abraham, to those of you that have seen videos where I'm fixing a car with my nephew, just kind of the way you see my nephew Abraham come in the shop every once in a while to help. That's how I was too when I was growing up. So I did my very first oil change. I remember this. My very first oil change when I was 9 years old. Okay. So yeah, so I've been a mechanic kind of my whole life. But professionally as a pro mechanic, about 12 years. Okay. So what else do we have? Jara Victor says P128800 cylinder head temperature sensor out of self-test range. Okay, well that should be a pretty straightforward code. Your sensor might be bad. This is usually caused by a defective sensor itself, or a wiring, a problem in the wiring between the sensor and the computer. All right, moving on. What else do we have here? Glitterfart says, great job guessing what parts he used from the symptom. Well, to me, it's kind of not guessing though. It's like, I you know, I see this all the time, and I do this every day. So I see a lot of, you know, this stuff happened over and over and over, you know. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys about this printer. I have the sensor over there. I wish I had it here. So I have a customer. Kira says, when you know, you know. Thank you. I have a customer that brought a Sprinter van here. This is another one of those customers. This guy came from Arlington, Virginia. Okay, he came to me because, you know, he saw the videos, and he had been at several shops. The Sprinter was not fixed. They replaced, at the other shop, they replaced the high pressure fuel pump, which he probably didn't need. They replaced the high pressure fuel pump. They replaced the crank sensor. Actually, I'll go grab that sensor. Okay, I'm back. I am back. So here, this, guys, this is new. Okay, and this is garbage. Do not, this is a crank sensor for a Mercedes Dodge Sprinter. They're all the same, whether it's a Mercedes or Dodge Sprinter, these sensors are the same. You see this little flat area over here? When you see this, this is an OEM. This is an OEM. I'm sorry, not OEM. This is, if you see this flat area, this little flat section here, this is an aftermarket sensor. Do not use these sensors. It's a waste of money and it's a waste of time. I have so many components here, electrical and electronic components here, on the here at the shop that I throw. This one is new, and this is what fixed the car. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So the customer brought the vehicle to me, no codes, okay, no codes, low power. The concern was, sorry, let me just finish this and then I'll get back to the questions. So the problem was no codes, but the vehicle will die. So when he drove, while he was driving, and then when when he drives like 10 to 15 miles, and then the vehicle just dives, it just dies by itself. Okay, and then eventually it just dies. Well, the problem was the crank sensor. So at the other shop, they replaced the high pressure fuel pump. They replaced this crank sensor. This particular sensor came out of that van. They replaced the crank sensor. I think they replaced 2 injectors. The van was not fixed. He spent a lot of money, got tired, shipped the vehicle to us. We diagnosed it. We scanned the engine computer, no codes. Now, he said the car was dying. I test drove it. I drove about just a couple minutes just to get out of the shop here in the driveway. The van died. I was like, okay, so this is fine. Okay, let's see if we can figure out this mystery. I got my scan tool, connected my scan tool to the van again, no codes. So what I did was I scoped the crank sensor and the cam sensor, and I drove the van. And as I drove it, about 10 minutes later, the van died. Well, what I was able to see with the scope was they were square wave, these are Hall effect sensors, they're 3-wire sensors. These sensors put out a square wave type signal. So the square wave eventually started phasing out, and then the sensor just dropped. And when the sensor dropped, the engine died. And that's how I was able to know that the problem was the sensor. And when I removed the sensor, I looked at it, I was like, oh, dang, this is the problem. So I called the customer. He paid for our diagnostic time. We got an OEM sensor, installed it, and it was fixed. The vehicle was fixed after installing an OEM sensor. So do not buy aftermarket sensors. It's not worth it. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Let me catch up here. Let me see where I left off. So what repair software do you use the most for finding wiring diagram? You use Identifix? Yeah, okay. This is a question from Billy Deaver. Identifix is good. I have a lot of friends that use Identifix. I use Mutual Pro Demand. And then CP says, can you tell me which code reader do you use to read Mercedes Sprinter trouble codes? My local shop can only tell me it's a P0299 and it's too generic. I'd like to read the code myself rather. Thanks. Well, CP, the P0299 is a, let me see if I can remember this. This is a low boost code. It's a turbocharger / supercharger under boost trouble code. Okay, so when you see P0299, it's a low boost code. It means the air that the turbo is pushing out is not making it to the intake. So you could have an external leak, or you could just have a turbo that's going bad, or you could have, on Sprinters, we see a lot of actuators. I have a lot of videos about that on the channel. We see the actuators on the turbo go bad a lot because when the vanes on the turbo stop opening, it causes the turbo to not spin fast enough to create enough boost for the engine. And I believe what you are experiencing with the vehicle right now is a limp mode. Is your car losing power? I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Okay, so Neil Herber says, started working at a shop, no ASE training, but I like fixing mechanical things. But now it seems like mechanics need to be scientists more than mechanics. Should I get into this industry? Yes, I wholeheartedly agree, and I am going to recommend you get into this industry. This is a great industry. I will recommend my kids. I don't have kids yet, but I will recommend and encourage my kids to enter this industry. This is a great industry, especially the technology nowadays, the tools, cars are more complex and more sophisticated. So if you really learn electrical and electronic work, you will be very valuable, and you can potentially make a great living for yourself. Okay, not just electronic, but just be a well-rounded mechanic. You have to be able to do mechanical stuff, electrical stuff, diagnostic work, get into hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles. You'll be set. Okay, and always, do training, get trained. You'll be good to go. So I definitely recommend getting in the industry. We need a lot of people getting the industry now. Okay, we need more technicians. There is a shortage of mechanics here in the States. Okay, we are having issues finding competent mechanics, or even people who are willing to enter the industry and learn. Like, I was hiring here about a couple months ago, but it was difficult for me to find like reliable guys that were going to come work here at our shop. So you may not be very good, but if you are reliable and you show up on time, you're willing to learn, you do great. And this is a great industry to be in. So I recommend you enter the industry. Okay. So what else do we have? So Japheth Japheth, am I saying your name right? Japheth Johnson says, you said some times ago that you are having your own shop. Are you close to open your business yet? Great question. Yes, I am close. I'm getting close. I am getting close. So my shop will most likely be in the Frederick area. So to some of you that live in Maryland, if you live in Gettysburg, Maryland, Hagerstown, if you're in Maryland, my shop, I'm gonna have my shop very soon. I'm actually working on it. We're getting very close. The shop will see a day very soon, and you guys can come out and visit the shop. Actually, uh, I'm probably gonna make a video series about the day I purchase the building or rent the building, like the kind of how I start, and we can do maybe a video series, and just to kind of bring you guys along. Okay, so very soon, I will bring you guys along. You're gonna see the shop. Maybe we're gonna set it up together. I'll keep the camera on, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna set it up. Like, I want to do it right, and it's gonna be good. And we're gonna have the right equipment. We're gonna do great work, and we're gonna take care of customers, and we will stand for great work. And I can't wait. I can't wait to bring you along this journey. So very soon, I'll have my shop very soon. Thank you for remembering that, and thanks for asking. Okay, what else do we have? So yeah, when you know, you know. New doesn't mean it works. That's true. Yeah, I have gotten so many parts that were defective out of the box. So because it's getting out of the box does not mean it is good. Okay. So Eric asks, how often will you be doing these lives? Like maybe once every 3 months. So I'm doing this one right now this month in September. So the next one will probably be around the end of December or maybe January. So my goal is to have at least 4 lives in a year. Okay, so you guys will hang out with me again in 2 or 3 months. So probably at the end of December or at the beginning of next year. Okay. So Ron Fobb and Build says, I have a 2006 Chevy Impala and have replaced all evap sensors and vent canister, erased codes from car and history, have driven car almost 100 miles, and codes are coming up, now not ready on OBD2 at shops. Like, what do you mean? Did you do this yourself, or did you have a shop fix this for you and the same codes keep coming back? Now, we're gonna go back to what we said. Did they use OEM parts? Evap solenoids, garbage. Don't get aftermarket ones. Vent solenoids, purge solenoids, do not get aftermarket ones. If you want to save yourself time and money, don't get aftermarket ones. Get OEM ones. Okay? So, after installing the OEM valves, if you're still having evap codes, make sure you don't have a leak, between the tubes, and make sure you don't have a cracked charcoal canister. Okay? So Sam says, hi, 2003 CRV Auto. Steering wheel shakes at 20 to about 35, I believe, miles an hour. Smooth after 40. It's been aligned. So it shakes only around like when you're driving on low speed? That's odd. Does it shake when you step on the brake pedal, or just while you're driving straight? Because if it's been aligned, your wheels might be out of balance. But usually wheel balancing would shake. I mean, it would cause the steering wheel to shake very badly on high speed. So you can go get your wheels checked. Make sure your wheels are balanced. You can start there. All right. So CP says, yes, but which code reader do you use for sprinters? My van does go into limp mode for a while and check engine light stays on with P0299. I need to know what specific code to throw out. What do you mean you need to know what specific code to throw out? Well, the P0299, that's a low boost code. I use an RTEL scan tool when it comes to sprinter vans. I use RTEL. I use Snap-on sometimes because I just like the way the data, I like the way the data are written on the Snap-on scan tool, but RTEL will be the way to go when it comes to sprinters. So you can get an RTEL scan tool. Japheth Johnson says, I live in the UK. Awesome. Thanks for letting us know where you are watching from. I appreciate you. Boggy A1 says, honest mechanic are hard to find. Yeah, it's sad, unfortunately. What aftermarket parts company have you found to be most reliable and least reliable? Well, it depends. So I work a lot with Napa. I get a lot of parts from Napa. A lot of this. So I have worked with these guys, like my local parts store. I have worked with them for a long time, that they know that I always require excellence. What I like to do, when I perform a repair on a car, I want things to be done right. Now, this VW I'm telling you about, you should see the parts guys apologize to me when I told them that the part they sold me was causing the problem. Because I always recommend good parts, and they know, if it's a part that's those second, the ones that are not really good, they won't recommend them. Sometimes they say, oh, if Dio is ordering parts, we better send him the good stuff. He's not going to take the bad stuff. Yeah, so because, yeah, I mean, I would call your parts store and ask them if you're buying a sensor. Usually they have a couple brands, and the price also will tell you what you're getting. If it's super cheap, it's most likely not good. If it's decently priced, chances are it's good. Not all the time, but chances are it's good. Okay. So to answer your question, I cannot really tell you what company or what brand. I cannot really recommend anything right now. Which is the best OBD reader? What's so are you trying to say what is the best scan tool? Um, hmm. It depends on the type of vehicles you work on. Like if you work on European vehicles, the scan tool you might need can be different from the scan tool you may need when you work on domestic vehicles. So if you work on a lot of domestic vehicles like Chevy, Ford, Buick, Caddy, a Snap-on would be good. I would go with an Autel if you're working on, European stuff. But Autel is good for domestic stuff too. Okay, so Ron Fobb says yes. I do this for myself. It's supposed to be direct feed one part. Okay. Glitter says yes. Can you show us the probes you use and code reader? Yes. I mean, I can show you the stuff I have. Do you guys want to see the scan tool I have? Okay. I want someone else to say in the live chat that you want to see my scan tool and my set of bag probes. Then I'll walk to my toolbox and show it to you guys. Okay, what else do we have? I just want 2 comments. Someone else say, if someone else says that, I'll walk to my toolbox and show it to you. Okay. Okay, Eric says yes. Okay. Oh, we got another yes. Okay, I'll walk to my toolbox. I have a couple of scan tools, but let me walk there and show you the stuff I have. All right, I am back. Now, I'm gonna show you the first one, which is kind of my favorite. Oh, we've been live for almost an hour and a half. So I just wanted to keep this down to an hour and a half, but we're gonna end this very soon. Okay, so these guys are not a sponsor of the channel or the chat, okay? It would be nice if Snap-on can sponsor me or all these other scan tools that I'm gonna show you guys. Now, I can't tell you which one to buy, but I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about them, okay? Now, I've had comments and emails about some of you asking me to do a scan tool review. I don't really like to do reviews, so maybe in the future, but these guys are not sponsoring me, so I'm not gonna review this stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I just don't have time to review all these tools. I love these tools, so maybe eventually I'll do a scan tool review, okay? So first and foremost, scan tool, Snap-on Zeus. I love the Zeus. It's a great tool. I've used this for a little over 4 years, almost 5 years now. I've had it for a long time. It has a 4-channel scope. Okay, I love using the scope, and the scope on this one is very user friendly. It's good. I like the way the data are written. Okay, on this tool, it's very, very good. Now, it's not cheap, unfortunately. It's very expensive, but you get what you pay for. And the other thing I like about this is the guided component test. There is like a library of sensors, components, and stuff into the scan tool. So if you are diagnosing a sensor and you don't know how the sensor works, you can go in the scan tool and read about the sensor, and it's going to tell you Sometimes it even tells you about the sensor pinout and all the good stuff. So snap-on, very good. You know, this is kind of my go-to, especially when it comes to using the lab scope. You know, it's my go-to scan tool. Okay, now after snap-on, the next one is my Diesel laptop. Okay, so Diesel laptop, I love this laptop. It's a great scan tool. Okay, this is really awesome. I love it. I use this when I work on, I mean, you guys have seen me work on cars and trucks. So, you know, I work on diesel, you know, heavy and medium duty diesel trucks. So this is what I use when I work on school buses, trucks, you know, tractor trailers and all the good stuff. So this is great. I've had this for a long time. You know, the update on this is very expensive though. Keeping this updated is really pricey, but great tool. I love it. Okay. Now, what's next? I'm just showing you kind of my top ones. Okay. So, Autel. You guys have seen me use this. My Autel Ultra, Maxisys Ultra. Great tool, big screen, easy to use. It also has a scope, but the scope on this one is a little slow. I don't really use the scope on this Autel as much. I prefer to use the snap-on scope, but this is a good tool. So if you work on a lot of Europeans, when it comes to European vehicles, I mean, I mentioned this last time we did the live. I try not to specialize. I don't consider myself a specialist, like a sprinter specialist or diesel specialist. No, I try to work on all kinds of cars and trucks. It keeps it more fun for me, and it makes it more challenging. And I love the challenge, you know. I love figuring things out. So that's why I work on all these makes and models and stuff. I don't specialize because I work on sprinters. Sometimes you work on a Chevy, sometimes an Audi, sometimes a VW. And every time I work on these different makes and models, I have to read. You know, you gotta read all the time. So I love that. So yeah, Autel, great tool. I love it. I would recommend it all day long. So Autel, if the Autel people, if you guys are watching, come sponsor my channel. Come sponsor Kids Auto and Truck Repair, okay? Guys, tell the Autel people to come sponsor me. All right. So now, this is one of my favorite bug probe and test lead kit. Okay, this is the AES master test lead kit. I think that's how they call it. This is awesome. If you don't have this, you should get it. Check this out. Isn't this sweet? I love this. Look at this. Okay, so I have all types of, you know, bug probes and test leads. Look at all these leads. You know, if you are testing connectors, you know, for modules, very, very good stuff. Okay, great stuff to have. So I got this from AES Wave. I use this all the time. You have seen me use this on the channel here. Okay, so this is pretty much what I can show you right now. I have a lot more, but it's gonna take us forever if I show you everything I have. Okay, I love my snap-on. I gotta turn it off. Not a sponsor, like Eric always says. All right, so what else do we have here? Guys, unfortunately, we probably gonna have to end this live very soon. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. You know, we've been on for a little over an hour and a half. So what else do we have? Do you have experience with using black diesel or veggie oil as fuel on a 2007 Dodge Sprinter. No, I do not. I do not have experience with that. CP says, thanks for the hotel scan reader tip. I take my van to you, but I'm in San Francisco. Oh, thank you. Thanks for wanting to bring your van to us for service. And we would love to service your Sprinter van. Clearer says the Napa store here closed 8 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I love Napa. I've been working with them for a little over 8 years now. They take good care of me, and they're great people. I mean, the store near me. Like, I know the store manager. Like, they give me good deals, and they're great people. Okay. And then, oh, Clear Fart says have to drive 45 to 90 miles for parts. Wow, that's a long ways to go. Eric says I have a grease car veggie oil kit. It's a 2-tank system. Interesting. Can you install it for me? I don't know. Like veggie oil. I don't know much about that. I need to probably do some research about that. Okay, what else? Mahmoud says, what else do we have here? Youssef Zekari says, it's late time. It's late here in UK. You most go to sleep because your work need more energy to keep work done. Yes, that's true. It's getting late. Yes. Well, you are welcome. Glitter Fart says, thank you. Glitter, all of this is great info, seeing what is actually used and liked. Great content. Fantastic. Perfect. My pleasure. You're welcome. Yes, I do use Emma and Dad. You says, do you use Milwaukee tools? Yes, I do. I have Milwaukee ratchets. Yeah, I have a couple of tools here that I use. Maybe next time I'll better prepare and show me the tools that I use. Okay, so it has been a little over an hour and a half. I'm gonna end this live stream. I would like to thank all of you for hanging out. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for being here. Ahmad is asking, is it good? Yes, it's good. It is good. Yes, it's good stuff. Yeah, Milwaukee is good. I do use Milwaukee, and Milwaukee is awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me tonight. With some of you who are in Africa and Europe, it's very late over there. Thank you for being here. And thank you to those of you who are here in the States. It was a pleasure hanging out with you and knowing where you are watching from. Thank you for telling me where you're watching from. I did appreciate your comments. Your comments keep coming in. That's awesome. Thank you. Stay grand, everyone. Hope all have a great Friday and weekend and life. Praise Jesus, bro. Yes, I agree. Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus. That's for sure. Yes. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out. It was good hanging out with you. You know, be on the lookout for the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for everything you guys are doing for the channel. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to leave this right over here. And I would say until I see you again next time, I will be seeing you in the comment section of the videos. So please have a good weekend. Have a good Friday tomorrow. Have a good weekend. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.